Well, watching Donald Trump's day today, I'm just struck by the fact that we have a president again. I mean, look at this guy's day. 3 speeches, 196 executive actions, holds a 90-minute press conference narrating each one as he goes along. I mean, Joe Biden could not and would not offer the kind of transparency or vigor to the American people that we got here on day one from Trump. And tonight, Trump's going to throw on a tux and go to 3 balls. I mean, he's having an active day. I think it's going to be a massive amount of contrast here for a presidency like what we're going to see out of Trump and versus what we've had out of Biden. I was watching Trump today, and Van and I were talking earlier today, watching him walk down the hall of the Capitol, and the words that came to mind to me were gritty, resilient, determined, and audacious. There's not like a more perfect advertisement for the value of these qualities in modern America. I mean, you think about all the things that happened to him. Winning, losing, the court cases, nearly being assassinated. It's rather audacious what he has accomplished, winning this election and taking office today. And you said you were in shock. Well, Republicans are in awe.
What about the pardons? What's your take on that?
Here's what I think. Were these people punished? Yes. Were they ruined financially? Yes. Did they spend time in jail? Yes. Have their lives been ruined? Absolutely. And one of you said earlier, Van or Axe, that you think this sends a terrible signal that you can get away with things like this, as though we've never had a moment in recent American history when people were not punished for rampaging around when they shouldn't have been. It was the summer of 2020. And these people were actually punished. Those people were never even charged.
Hey, that's not true at all.
That's not true. Most charges were not.
Let him answer. But I do see it differently in that I don't like it when people tear up buildings at all. I'm not a part of some pro-riot, pro-crime lobby.
The first item that President Trump is signing is the rescission of 78 Biden-era executive actions, executive orders, presidential memoranda, and others. Thank you, sir.
Could you imagine Biden doing this? I don't think so. I don't think so.
What's going on, guys? Especially my reaction to Donald Trump's first day in office. I was contemplating whether to do a live stream or not, but I didn't have enough time. I wanted to spend time with my family today during Martin Luther King's Day and Trump's inauguration, so I decided to do that. But as you guys know, I'll give you my final reactions and kind of a summary of what happened. If you didn't get a chance to see, like 10 hours to see the entire thing, which I didn't really do. I tune in here and there. But I wanted to give you guys a kind of an overall idea of what happened. As you saw from the intro, I put out, his opening inauguration speech. I put in him signing executive orders, him taking a jab at Biden, and there's more about Biden to talk about here. But let's get into the details of Trump's Agenda 2.0. President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance team released pictures and details about the changes that the newly decorated Oval Office for Trump's second administration. I'm going to skip that. Under John Johnson's painting, they got a bunch of gifts. This is how the Oval Office will look. Back to that golden white. I think Biden had it kind of like blue and some other color. Carrie Underwood performed at Donald Trump's inauguration. It was nice, doing it without music. That shows a lot of talent, right? So let's get into some of the signings. Trump signed numerous executive orders undoing Biden-era policies, which led us to where we got here today. Trump is expected to sign more than 200 executive orders, which he already did, and he finished it off at the Oval Office. The first executive order that Trump signed was to rescind 78 executive orders left over from the presidency of former President Joe Biden. Trump withdraw the U.S. from the Paris Climate Accord, which they say will save us $1 trillion. An Obama-era effort, which he said will save the country over $1 trillion. Trump also issued a memorandum that implemented a regulatory and hiring freeze on federal government until the new administration can fully take over. So no new people are coming in until Trump and Elon Musk and all these other people get to review, I guess, essentially the State Department. He also issued an executive order preventing government censorship of free speech, and he has ordered all departments to address inflation, which will spark nearly $2 trillion, which was sparked by the nearly $2 trillion dollar American Rescue Plan that Joe Biden signed into law in March 2021. Imagine spending $2 million. And this plan has been designated as one of the number one reasons why inflation was so bad during Biden's first 2 years in office, because of the amount of spending it is. $2 trillion off the gate. 2 months after you get the presidency, Joe Biden, you spend $2 trillion? Ridiculous. Could you imagine Biden doing that? As you guys saw, he took a jab at Joe Biden. As you see, there's a lot of reform going on. State Department's LGBT, racial equity, invoice profiles scrubbed after Trump takes office. We're saving a lot of money with this. And I already made this argument before. I think if you're not new to this channel, you heard me say this a lot, that DI breeds inefficiency, breeds waste, because you're trying to make a round peg fit in a square hole. It's like, you can't do it. You can't. This is what DI is. If DI is already too late, the culture itself is the one that creates these outcomes, not top-down edict from the government. But I digress. Turn back now. Miller cautions illegal immigrants and threatens prosecutions and explosions. And this is something I wanted to talk about with Mike Johnson. He had a little one-on-one with Kristen Welker talking about mass deportation. And look, overwhelming majority of Americans support Trump's plan to deport criminals and illegal aliens. And at the time I'm making this video on Tuesday, he's going to start with Chicago, right? But there's something else I want to highlight too, because as you guys know, the media is being, they're the media again. They're trying to do this little fake outrage about Elon Musk doing "My heart goes out to you" and then pretend it's a Nazi hail sign when you see other politicians do it. But that might be a separate video. But what I want to focus on here is the media insistence on focusing on the fact that Donald Trump is going to pardon January 6ers, and they're trying to make that the story when during Trump's inauguration speech, the first one, the one in Capitol Hill, Joe Biden pardoned his whole entire family during Trump's speech. During the last 30 minutes of power that Joe Biden had, he pardoned his entire family. And you expect people to focus on that because, end of the day, Joe Biden was the 46th president. He set a precedent that therefore Trump can do. But instead of focusing on the pardons that Joe Biden is doing, which they did with the J6 committee and all these other people, he pardoned his entire family. And guess who the media is talking about pardons by? Donald Trump. It's ridiculous. So here's this clip from Kevin McCarthy, and I got another one queued up as well, kind of destroying the media's insistence on only focusing on January 6th when you just finished seeing Biden pardon his entire family. But I digress. Let's take a look.
One of the things he just mentioned, and he's alluded to it 1,000 times, and it seems intent to do it, which is pardoning some of those who have been convicted in connection with January 6th. You were there on January 6th. You were quite disappointed in the president's actions that day. What do you think if he pardons some of these people?
The president has the power to do that. This is the difference.
No question about it, but what do you think?
But this president told the American public why he was campaigning for office. If I am elected president, I will pardon these people. Now,
what do you think?
But compare this to Joe Biden, who said he would never pardon his son, who now, on the very last day, in the last 30 minutes, pardons his entire family.
What do you make of that decision for him to make those pardons and to do it now?
Terrible. Terrible. Think about what everybody else had gone through. Why pardon your family? What, it makes no sense to me. Why pardon January 6th from the idea of the elected officials? All it does is put a cloud over that you did something wrong. These people didn't ask for it, but you must know something that other people do not. And why do you wait to 30 minutes before? Why did you tell the American public you would never pardon your son, and you do it? Now, the difference here is whether you agree or disagree about what President Trump's going to do, He told the American public ahead of time. They put that into consideration whether they vote for him for president. So he's just keeping a campaign promise.
There's no question. I mean, he was as clear as day about what he was going to do, and now he's going to do it. I just wondered for you, as somebody
I
who
don't
was
think
there, how does this sit with you?
He's not going to do a. From what I know of it, it doesn't seem like it's going to be a blanket pardon. There's some people that have been sitting in there that I don't believe have been given their justice. They've just been sitting in there.
I would just humbly and respectfully submit to you all that if this is the conversation you intend to have and the script you intend to read for the next 4 years, you are going to continue to get politically punished by the American people who are desperate to look into the future and not continue to wring hands about
the only
that's
person.
why I'm sorry.
The only,
that is your
the only
reality.
person who brought this up today, Scott, was Donald Trump. Okay, he was the one who put it on the agenda. He was the one who pardoned all these people. He did not have to do that.
No,
he didn't have to do it,
Well,
and
he
did
promised
it.
he was going to
so
do
when
it.
you talk about looking forward, why isn't he looking forward?
He is looking forward, and I think what he would say is, I'm trying to put this behind us, and Democrats and the media are continuing to try to make this the center of our national political conversation.
I
I'm trying to put this behind us.
Tomorrow, Donald Trump will still talk about him winning the 2020 election and still talk about January 6th.
Joe Biden issues last-minute pardons for multiple family members in shocking abuse of power. Accepting a pardon implies an acknowledgement of guilt. This is how many people are seeing it. And even, this is the funny part, when it was Trump during 2020, and Trump was thinking about doing this for his family, all the media talking heads, all the liberal media talking heads, like the Joy Reids of the world, the Jane Bacoskas, the Jake Tappers, they all said, yo, that is an admission of guilt. If these people weren't guilty of anything, they wouldn't do it.
Have you ever heard of somebody getting a preemptive pardon who was innocent of all crime? Who's just an innocent person? Have you ever heard of that? Just somebody getting a blanket pardon and they're an innocent person?
But no, it's the president's own family. It's people that have been covering up for the president in addition to his own family.
Is there an innocent explanation for someone to seek preemptive pardons for family members? Would you do that if you knew you were innocent and just worried about outside forces?
The answer to that is going to be no. If you haven't done anything wrong, you sit there and go, what do you need a preemptive pardon for?
If he pardons people preemptively, he's essentially telling the public that these people have committed crime.
You see in the segments that I showed you of Scott Jennings warning the media, yo, you guys keep focusing on this, but it's in the past now. Let it go. You don't like. Y'all keep bringing it up. Oh, no, it's Donald Trump, his actions. But Trump campaigned on this. Joe Biden didn't campaign on him pardoning his entire family, pardoning the select committee, pardoning these people who went against Donald Trump. Everything Democrats and corporate media falsely claimed Trump would do with the pardon powers to destroy democracy and the rule of law, pardon all his family members and all his political allies were things Donald Trump didn't do. They were, however, all things that Biden did. Executive grant of clemency. Look at this. Breaking. Biden has pardoned his family. Justice. Huh? Look. Bro, I'm telling you, Democratic voters are the only ones that believe the crap that Democrats spew it out of their mouth. Here's 2020, because this is why Joe Biden is getting flack. Right? Actually, this is why Joe Biden should get flack. Why Joe Biden should get condemned for this pardoning. Because this is what he was saying as he was president-elect.
President Trump is reportedly considering a wave of preemptive pardons. Does this concern you? All these preemptive pardons?
Well, it concerns me in terms of what kind of precedent it sets and how the rest of the world looks at us as a nation of laws and justice. You're not going to see in our administration that kind of approach to pardons. Nor are you going to see in our administration the approach to making policy by tweets. It's just going to be a totally different way in which we approach the justice system.
President Trump is
4 years later. It was a crap of crap. Like, that was lies. Incredible. Bunch of lies. And you know why? This is why many people voted for Donald Trump, because the Democrats sit here and pretend that they're so much better than us, so much better than Trump. Oh, Trump is this. Trump is a liar. Did Joe Biden misspoke? Did Joe Biden misspoke? I'm asking a Democrat supporters. Did Joe Biden misspoke when he said that? Millions took to the streets to protest Donald Trump's inauguration in 2017. This year, not so much. In fact, almost nothing by comparison. The reason is because on so many issues, from trans to the border, Trump has defeated the Democrats morally, not just politically. Is this true? Let me know in the comment section. I believe this is true. The reason why Democrats are so quiet is that they got exposed. They called Trump the liar. Reality, they were the liars. Every accusation from the Democrats is a confession. This has not been broken yet, at least in 2024, 2025. In 2020, Joe Biden said, as president-elect, I wouldn't do that. Donald Trump, during his whole campaign, I'm going to pardon the January 6ers. And y'all were criticizing him throughout the entire campaign for him thinking about pardoning the J6ers. But Biden, when he was president-elect, said that he would not do that in his administration. 5 years later, he did it in his administration. The burning embers of power, he used it. Last-minute Hail Mary to protect his family. But what the media want to talk about? They want to complain about, oh, this is an abuse of power. You got Nancy Pelosi tweeting, oh my God, this is an abuse of power. And I'm like, did you not see what your guy just did on his way out? And this is the kind of stuff that I believe, this is why I put Scott Jennings' commentary in this video about, hey, the media's insistence on focusing on January 6th, it will destroy them. It will. So I want to catch this clip. I want you guys to watch this clip of Donald Trump pardoning the J6ers.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon.
Yes.
Full pardon.
Full pardon or commutations?
Full pardon. We have about 6 commutations in there where we're doing further research. Nice to see you again. So this is a big one. Anything you want to explain about this? We hope they get them. We hope they come out tonight, frankly. They're expecting it.
There you go. 1,500 people freed, right, from political party, and they think about it. They served their time already. There's some people that was just in limbo, as Kevin McCarthy pointed out. But the media want to focus on that. Oh my God, what an abuse of power! Oh, but pardoning your whole entire family, you said that had nothing to do with your corruption, right? You had nothing to do with Ukraine, right? Because these were the loose ends. These were the loose ends for Joe Biden. He knew, hey, look, if Trump got a chance and he investigate me, if Joe Biden got hit like Trump got hit, he will get convicted of his dealings with Ukraine. All these coincidences. Your son gets money from some Russian oligarch, and all of a sudden her family's left off the blacklists for sanctions. Coincidence? Oh, I never met Hunter Biden's Chinese partner. But then there's a photo of you shaking your son's Chinese business partner. You bragged on public about how you forced Ukraine to fire a prosecutor that was investigating your son's energy company that he's a board member of. That's a lot of coincidences. I'm just saying. It warrants at least an investigation, but you pardon your entire family. And you don't think Joe Biden being the worst president in modern history, people are not going to have questions for that? So I want to end off this video with the top 10 most outrageous moments from Trump's first day in office. The scene wasn't NBC is going to NBC.
Emergency is officially now in effect on the border. Does it feel like an emergency where you are standing?
Feels no different than 20 minutes ago or 30 minutes ago or an hour ago when we got here early this morning, Rachel. The one practical change that we do know that has gone into effect here is that CBP One app that was put into place by the Biden administration, part of their stated effort to have a more fair, safe, humane, orderly process at the border. has been discontinued by the Trump administration and President.
Good. You shouldn't be allowed to
Trump.
have legal status off of app. Make that make sense. Oh, I checked in from an app. Don't know your location. Don't know where you're at. The app didn't allow them to track their phones. Like, ridiculous. Making it easier for people to abuse the law. But there's no significant changes happening at the border. The reason why there's a national emergency declaration is that 25 million people were let in illegally. And like over 400,000 of them are criminals, people who had past criminal records in their country of origin. You didn't see all the news stories that were going on. But, you know, if you only watch MSNBC, they downplay it and pretend that nothing's wrong with the border.
Not to separate the pardons that are happening today. So the reason why Joe Biden pardoned the January 6th committee and other Milley and Fauci is because Donald Trump, you're right, he ran and people elected him. He said he was going to seek retribution. Now, retribution is not a part of the Constitution, right? So we put those in place. I think it's unfortunate that he pardoned his family today. I am a Democrat. I think that it does cloud what he did so I think you should bifurcate those two. And then I think the pardons for January 6th are completely different. The reason why today feels so abnormal is because of what happened last year or 4 years ago on January 6th.
For you, most people, if you ask them what happened January 6th, that the Capitol, it don't even come to mind for most people. Try it yourself. Don't lead in with, don't give them any clues. Just be like, hey, you know what happened January 6th, 2021? People are gonna go, what happened? Only Democrats or people who are very political will know what happened January 6th. Most people don't care about January 6th. January 6th didn't really affect most people's lives. But I digress.
Something that none of us in our lifetime have ever seen. So on your day one, when you talked about, not you, Michael, but Donald Trump talks about lowering the cost of eggs, what you do is you let people out who undermined our Constitution, who undermined the election, who undermined people who felt like their life was not better under Donald.
So one thing, too, I want to point out, and I'm done hearing the commentary, is that I like how they harp on, you know, certain people, right? The argument is most of them were like peaceful. Most of them were let in. Those outside, sure. I don't know how many people were there. It was over 1,500. I can tell you that. There was more than 1,500 people. But hey, full pardon. F it. But you don't want to talk about, hey, you know, some of the concerns people have about Joe Biden, his business dealings, his son making money off his last name, right? Things conveniently always end up going the way that things need to confirm the deals that Joe Biden's son made. You don't want to talk about that, though. And then he pardons his entire family. You don't want to talk about the angle from which many people felt like Fauci lied and abused his position, his authority, to make us to push a policy that he himself wasn't sure was actually effective, but he claimed it was rooted in science, but you don't want no accountability for him. Make it make sense. I'm tired. I'm just tired. Here's Van Jones' reaction to Donald Trump's coming inauguration.
Look, a lot of talk about America first. I hear from my friends in the conservative movement. Today, Joe Biden's putting America first. This is a tough day. You saw him put his hand on the car. It's heartbreaking. He's actually giving Donald Trump not just the dignity of a good transition, he's giving him a pretty decent economy. Things are healing. They're moving in the right direction. He's put in place some things. There's going to be a lot of red ribbon.
I'm tired of the spin jobs, guys. I honestly am. I don't know if you guys are. I am too. Right? They come in, the economy, he's handing him a pretty strong economy. Where? If you poll Americans, most will say this economy ain't working for them. And also, I talked about this a lot on my channel, and I will reiterate it here, is that the higher your income is, the more likely you are to say that inflation isn't a big factor in your life. So for these guys like Van Jones making millions of dollars a year, it may feel like a good economy. It may not feel that bad of an economy. But to say that it's a good economy, what polls are you referencing? Notice how he didn't reference a poll. I could reference a poll. Majority of Americans believe that Joe Biden's economy isn't good. And if you look according to The Guardian, a couple months ago, they're saying Americans falsely believe that the economy isn't good. Make it make sense. Yes, that was an article headline. But I'll let him continue.
It's cut. under the Trump administration because of tough votes that Biden got Democrats to take. So, I think it's an important moment. It's a powerful moment. Joe Biden, he probably stayed too long, but he stayed too long because he thought he had more good to do. He won't get a chance to do that good, but he's handing off a better economy than he got, and he's doing it in a more decent way, showing more decency than he received.
I'm done. I'm done with this. This is like imagine. He says stronger, like Joe Biden had a weaker economy than he got, right? So they want to make this parallel that my argument is, why didn't they make this parallel with Obama? Obama said it was going to be impossible to get the job numbers that Donald Trump got in 2019. And Donald Trump said, no, I can get these job numbers. So there's already off the gate, Trump's first administration, there was two conflicting visions of what they thought was possible in the next 4 years from 2017 to 2021. And Trump in 2019 had the greatest economy ever. And then you want to give credit, oh, that was Obama's economy. Smack. Get out of here. What are you talking about? Then Joe Biden received an economy where jobs were returning. Remember, COVID, they lifted up COVID. People were more willing to come in person now. Jobs was opening back up. That was a layup. All Joe Biden had to do was not F it up, and he effed it up with his America Rescue Plan 2021, which many economists contributed to one of the reasons why inflation was so bad during his administration. You spend $2 trillion as your opening policy thing, March 2021, and you don't think that has anything to do with inflation, but you want to talk about how Donald Trump's inheriting a good economy from Joe Biden. Make it make sense. I love how they negate COVID. Like, oh, COVID didn't exist during the 2020 years. Like, COVID didn't play a factor of what hampered Trump's economy. When all these liberal states were closing down, you don't think that hurt the economy? And then they're gonna snapshot it and only focus on that year, but they don't want to focus on the year before without COVID. I'm tired of the narratives. I'm tired. Honestly, I'm tired. Trump's first day in office, we expect many more outrage from the mainstream media. But hey, I digress. I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.